ICD-10 JJ-10B Guidelines 04701.
ICD-10 CM Official Guidelines for Coding and Reporting 2016.
Narrative changes appear in bold text.
Items underlined has been moved within the guidelines since the 2014 version.
They have been moved, right? Italics are used to indicate revisions to heading changes.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, and the National Center for Health Statistics, NCHS, are two departments within the U.S. federal government's Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS.
CMS and NCHS provide the following guidelines for coding and reporting using the International Classification of Diseases, 10th Revision, Clinical Modification, or ICD-10 CM.
These guidelines should be used as a companion document to the official version of the ICD-10 CM as published on the NCHS website.
The ICD-10 CM is a morbidity classification published by the United States. Morbidity is, diseases, for classifying diagnoses and reasons for visits in all healthcare settings.
The ICD-10 CM is based on the ICD-10, the Statistical Classification of Diseases published by the World Health Organization, WHO.
Right. So the international version is ICD-10 and the American version is ICD-10 CM. Okay? Now we're going to do the exercise. Ready, set, go. Okay. This is ICD-10 JJ-10A, page 355, exercise 5, and this is a level 2 exercise, and it reads like this.
18-week spontaneous abortion complete with excessive hemorrhage.
That's right. It's an 18-week spontaneous abortion complete with excessive hemorrhage. Now we're going to count to 3, so you can pause the video and then give us the answer, the ICD-10 code for this diagnosis. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, the answer is 003.6 and Z3A.18. Okay, if you got that, congratulations, just go to the next video. If you didn't get it, let's give you a few tips. Okay, here are the tips. Tip number one.
Level 2 difficulty. There are 2 codes.
There are 2 codes for this diagnosis, so we classify it as level 2. Tip number 2.
Start with abortion, and it has the parentheses next to it, complete and spontaneous.
And then
you go to complicated.
Why go to complicated? That's our tip number 3.
It is not induced because it is not therapeutic. It is complicated by.
Right. It was not like prescribed by a doctor to say, to preserve the health of the mother. No, it is a complication. It means that it just happened, right? Without anybody wanting it to happen. So that's a complication. Okay, and the last tip.
The second code is for weeks of gestation unspecified. Any code within 000 through 09A has to have a second code for weeks of gestation. See note under Z3A, weeks of gestation.
Right. Any code that falls within this range has to have a second code. That's why it's there is a code number 2. Okay, now you have the answer. Now you are we're going to count to 3 so you can give us the path to the answer. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's give you the whole summary of the problem. It's an 18-week spontaneous abortion complete with excessive hemorrhage, and the code, there are 2 codes. The code number 1 through the index is found like this.
First you go to index.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to abortion.
Right.
In parentheses, there's complete and spontaneous.
Right.
Then next you go to complicated.
Uh-huh.
Next you go to hemorrhage.
Uh-huh.
Then next to it is excessive.
Uh-huh. And you get the code?
003.6.
Okay. Now we're going to check this code in the tabular. So the code 1 through the tabular is found like this.
First you go to tabular.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to 003. That's first characteristics. Then you get spontaneous abortion.
Okay. And from there you add one more character.
Yes, you get 003.6, excessive hemorrhage. Then you go on to complete.
And we completed all the keywords, so that's why we have the equal sign. We check this code. Now the code number 2 is found like this.
First you go to index.
Index.
Then you go to pregnancy.
Right.
Then you go to weeks of gestation.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to 18 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Then you get Z38.18.
0.18. Okay, and we're going to check this code in the tabular, and the code number 2 through the tabular is found like this.
Then you go to tabular.
Uh-huh.
Then you go to Z3A, weeks of gestation. In a note, you say any code within 000 through 09A has to have an additional code for weeks of gestation. Then you go to Z3A.1, weeks 10 through 19.
And then
Z3A.18.
Uh-huh.
Then you get 18 weeks.
And then you have the equal sign, and that means that you have double checked this second code. So the answer again is 003.6 and C3A.18. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to visit our website. Thank you.